Mortgage rates and existing home sales. Let's talk about it on Today in Mortgages. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. We're talking about what's real, what's hype, and what you should actually be paying attention to out there in the world of mortgage and real estate news. It's Today in Mortgage, and I've got Rich Jefferson back with me in the hot seat. How you doing, Rich?
Hey, good morning, Michael.
Okay, good. So we got some charts that I want to look at today. There's this cool site called Visual Capitalist, and I follow them, and they put out some really interesting infographics, and I just wanted to put it up to illustrate a lot of the things that we've been talking about and how extreme some of these deltas are on what's going on in the market right now. And so we'll put a link below. If you guys are listening to this on a podcast, you should definitely go check out the show notes, click on the link, and you can look at these charts yourself. But the first thing that we're going to look at from this article is the mortgage rate surge. And it's going to show the difference between existing home sales and the average mortgage rate over time. And it goes from only 2016 to, the present. But it's super interesting to look at how those things are close together. And then there's just these huge spreads starting with COVID. So, Rich, we've been talking about this a lot, but what are some of the things that you see in this chart?
When rates go up, less homes get sold. I mean, that's what I'm seeing. It's an eye-opening chart. I don't think this is much news. But when you put it to a graph, an infographic like this, it's like, wow, normally we just see data. And when you see it on an infographic like this, it really kind of tells a story on what's happening.
It definitely does. And that's why I wanted to put it up here. And I just thought it'd be interesting for us to look at and talk with our audience today. Give this Visual Capitalist site a follow. They put out stuff like this all the time that is just super eye-opening as to what is actually going out there in the world, but also in the marketplace and in mortgages sometimes. So right now, that spread from existing home sales to the mortgage rate is so far apart that it's just a little mind-boggling. And so it really illustrates what we've been talking about is that there is A, not enough homes for sale, B, people are just in a holding pattern until they can figure out what's going on here.
Yeah.
And it's the wrong move is what we always talk about.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of fatigue out there, right? Even if you are a buyer, want to buy right now, I mean, you're tired. While all of this is happening and a buyer is losing out on their offers, rates keep rising. And, you're looking back, yes, we've had higher interest rates in the past. The difference here is you're coming off just 18 months ago, 24 months ago, people refied their home at 2.75% interest. So that's another variable in there that's just exacerbating the problem. Because the normally, if we didn't see rates, if we had 2019 rates, right? They're 5.5% or 5.75%. To have today's rates at 8%, you would still have a huge pool of people that would be willing to pay 3% more. But the fact that they refied to 2.5 or 2.75 during the pandemic period now makes that additional 5% interest, it's daunting. And it's not encouraging new buyers to sell their departing homes and go find another home and pay more money and pay more interest rate. I don't recall having this in my 28-year experience. I don't recall a period like this ever.
Yep. And we're going to look at this next graph, and it is new versus existing home sales. And this shows you kind of another piece of the puzzle there, where you're talking about people sitting on their existing homes and not moving. And so if you look at the beginning of this chart from 2021, we were up above 6 million existing home sales at the time, and now we're down to around 4 million. And then if you look at that line below it, the new home sales, that's new construction, that has stayed fairly consistent, but it is lower than it was 2 years ago. So that means that people are not moving, and that the amount of new homes coming online to be able to make up for people not moving is not happening. And the real problem, I mean, maybe there are people out there who can, stomach the cost, stomach the rate, but they just can't find the homes to buy. And so the real problem seems like it won't be solved until there is a significant drop in rates and people move again, or as a significant increase in new homes coming online.
That's it. That's it. And the new homes are coming. Right now, new home builders are still trying to attract buyers, first, because a lot of first-time home buyers buy new builds. So what they're having to do is discount price and give concessions in order to buy down interest rates to encourage buyers to get into the properties today.
Sure.
When that happens, they're using their profits to subsidize for the high interest rate. They're buying their interest rate down for the buyers. So that hurts their profit margins. And so the next homes just get a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, and these things tend to level out over time.
Sure.
But of course, we are kind of in an unprecedented time, and we can kind of read the trend lines to see that rates are high right now, and prices are still going up. When rates drop, prices are going to go up even more. And there's just so much latent demand out there that even when we get all those new homes online, it's going to look good for us because we're going to be able to do a lot more transactions. But for the home buyer out there, it's still going to be pretty tough, right?
It is. And there's a lot of older Gen Z and younger millennials that really want to buy a home right now, but they just see it's getting further out of reach for them with the prices increasing and the interest rates. So it's really tough for them. And there's a lot of them that they want to buy. Even the high prices won't stop them. It's really the interest rates that's stopping them.
Yeah, and I think that we kind of harp on this, but just getting out there and continuing to educate buyers, educate your client about the realities of the situation, and be working with those clients, 1, 2, however many years out, to let them make a plan to get to the place where they can afford that down payment. Making sure that if home buying is a goal that they have, that they're not, growing their budget, they're not seeing lifestyle creep to where when they finally do put that down payment, that they're not going to be able to afford the monthly payment. So it's really kind of a coaching game at this point. And so, Rich, we talk about coaching a lot here. Tell us a little bit about what we're doing here at the network to make sure that that's happening.
Yeah, well, we're constantly coaching our folks to, listen to the buyer, listen to the borrower, listen to your client and some of their fears and concerns, because our main job is to manage fears and concerns with our clients. There's a lot of unknown for a lot of people doing a mortgage. A lot of times it's their first, maybe it's their second, but we're in a completely different market with interest rates being different. And a lot of them, they don't understand buy downs. Some realtors don't understand buy downs. So our job is to coach the borrower and the realtor on the products that are available today to see if there's a fit for that buyer today. And that's all we do. We try to stay positive. We try to talk about it because it is still, we believe this is the time to buy a home because we all know that prices will continue to rise when rates drop. So the purchase price is the permanent piece. The interest rate is a temporary piece. So you'll likely refinance that in 18 or 24 months, but the purchase price will stay with you. You don't get to bring that down. Your purchase price is your purchase price. That's permanent. And right now it's lower today than it's going to be, 18 months from now. That is for certain, just because of the demand. The demand has not slowed. I mean, it has slowed only as interest rates have increased, but it still hasn't hurt property values, still hasn't hurt home prices being sold. So
the desire's still there, even if they're not actually pulling the trigger, the desire's there. So that's a good word, Rich. And if you're out there listening or watching to this and you're hearing that coaching and you're thinking, how can I coach better? I don't know how to coach. I need coaching myself. Man, let me tell you that we are part of the best network in mortgages, and we get coaching like this every day from the great Rich Jefferson, who I have the pleasure of co-hosting with. And if you're interested in knowing more about how you can be a part of that and how you can get educated to educate your borrowers in a better way, click the grow link below and take a peek inside the network. Thanks so much for watching, listening, wherever you are. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time on Today in Mortgages. Today in Mortgages is produced by Network Funding LP, which is an equal housing lender, NMLS 2297. The content of this program is meant to be a commentary on mortgage and real estate news, and any discussion of rates and/or products should not be taken as an individual mortgage or home buying advice or pricing estimates, and any commentary on this show should not be considered a promise to make a loan. All applicants for a loan must qualify, and you should consult a professional regarding your individual loan scenarios for your financial situation. Visit our website at nflp.com/licenses for all state licensing and other legal information.